Good morning, everybody. This is State Climatologist Gary McManus with your Mesonet weather report. And now we are in our wettest November on record across the state of Oklahoma. Now, this is based on the statewide average as computed by the Oklahoma Mesonet. So these records historically go back to 1895. Of course, the Mesonet started in 1994. So we are comparing the Mesonet values to those older values based on the National Weather Service measurements across the state. But anyway, we are seeing the wettest November on record, which is certainly welcome for most folks after that horrible drought we've had really over the last 3 years and a few months back to August 2021. Now let's get to that new drought monitor map and see if we have a lot more changes. And there you go, a much better map than what we've seen even last week. So this is probably the best map we've seen since, maybe April of this year or maybe March of this year after we got all those El Nino rains. Now we do see still a large area of southern Oklahoma in at least moderate drought, a little bit of severe drought down there in southeastern Oklahoma, also some severe drought up in northeastern and north central Oklahoma. But by and large, drought is on its way out across the state, and that's certainly good news. Let's take a look at that drought monitor change map. This is a 1-week change map, and we can see up in north central and northeast Oklahoma some rare 2-category changes. We don't really see that on the drought monitor. As I've told you last week, we do like to wait a week to make those 2-category changes. At least make them over a 2-week period, because that's how drought works. It takes a long time to get going, takes a long time to get out of here. But we do see those 2-category changes, but also widespread 1-category changes, especially across the western half of the state and also the southern, 1/6 or so of the state. Now let's take a look at the rainfall that produced that record November rainfall. And again, we still have a couple of weeks left to go, even a little bit more than that. So we can still add to these totals, and it looks like we might next week. But we do see these widespread values of 5 to as much as 9 inches, a little bit more here and there. Now out in the Panhandle, they had 2 or 3 inches. A lot of snow out in the western Panhandle, up to 26 inches of snow was reported. But by and large, we still see great rainfall amounts over the first 2 weeks of November. And down in southeastern Oklahoma, especially Bryan County, that total of 3.2 inches is certainly an outlier for the main body of the state. And that's where we still see that severe drought down in that part of Oklahoma. Now let's take a look at the departure of normal rainfall map. Again, for November so far, we can see those values, those surpluses, 4 to as much as 8 inches above normal, close to 9 inches above normal in some areas. So certainly great surplus amounts of moisture, which have really hammered that drought out of here. And even those areas up in the Panhandle that saw a little bit less rainfall, those are still 2 to 3 plus inches above normal. So again, great surpluses across the state. Now, some of the benefits, we're still seeing great improvement in the subsoil and topsoil moisture maps from the USDA. These are the percent short to very short. A 17% decrease in that short to very short area across the state in the subsoil moisture. And also, we saw a 28% decrease in the topsoil moisture. And now only 40% of the state is seeing, short to very short topsoil moisture. I think that number will continue to go down as we get more rain and we start to evaluate those soils a little bit more closely. So we got a lot of momentum on getting this drought out of here. After next week's rains, we should get some more improvements. Hopefully it's a little bit more widespread than what we saw this week, and that would certainly be wonderful news. No drought through the winter months would be a great Christmas present. That's it for this time. We'll see you next time on the Mesonet Weather Report.